Welcome into Indiana Sports Beat here on this Wednesday.
Hump day.
Absolute game day for Indiana basketball. They take on the Marquette Golden Eagles tonight, and their high-flying shooter, Marcus Howard. Or is that his dad, Marcus?
No, he's Marcus.
Man, I was watching this dude last night. Whew! He can light it up. We'll be talking about that, plenty more. Matt Weaver from Peaks.com's on. Aaron Mattis from Fox 41. IU grad. Lots to talk about today. Hope your day's going well. Justin Kalen, Hot Topic Crew Chiefs Box. Let's get to the headlines.
All right, here are your headlines for this Wednesday, November 14th, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. The NFL moves the Chiefs-Rams game from Mexico City to L.A. this weekend due to bad field conditions. A number of players were going to sit out if the game was carried out in Mexico City. Le'Veon Bell doesn't report and will not play this season, as he will become a free agent at the end of the year. The new college football rankings looked a lot like last week. That's because the whole top 10 did not change for the first time in the history of the college football rankings. And Armaan Franklin signs with Indiana today. Those are your headlines, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
Yeah, Armaan Franklin, there's some big news. Signing, just getting it over with, not dragging it out, being a prima donna. Look at me! Look at me! I'm not signing. Not talking about anybody specific, but
Oh, no.
I'm over that stuff. I'm not kidding.
Well, now you got a target date of April that you can wait till. So
I ain't waiting for Jack. I'm not. It's not even on my mind. It literally drives me nuts. You're going to tell me you haven't had enough time up till now to know the differences between those three schools. That's a joke.
agreed.
It's a joke. It's just, look at me, I'm going to be like Romeo. Whatever. I wish they'd go get somebody else. Armaan Franklin signing the paperwork today. He'll become an Indiana Hoosier. Commit for sure. I think he's looking forward to that.
As Indiana fans should be as well.
And as Indiana fans are. The game day, Marquette Eagles coming into town. They'll be in Bloomington tonight. Bringing Marcus Howard, sharpshooter. Woo! Have you seen him play?
I have, yeah. He's pretty good. Pretty good.
He is.
His dad, by the way, was Marcus Howard also. So there you go.
I think he goes. I thought he went by a different name. Maybe not.
Nope.
Maybe not. But anyway, his dad was a running back at Indiana.
Yep. Indiana recruited him to play basketball.
Oh, yeah. Thought that was in the Crean era. Thought that they may get him, but didn't.
Clearly.
That would have been a nice piece. My gosh, can you imagine him on this team?
No. No, I can't.
Oh, that's instant national championship right there.
Perhaps.
Oh, I'm not. Well, there's no perhaps. You got a dude that can shoot 40% from outside, another guy that shoots 40% down on the wing who's 6'11", and these monsters rolling there on the inside. Jawan Morgan, Justin Smith.
Ideally, that would work, yeah. But, I mean, you never know how a guy would fit in.
Yeah.
Playing devil's advocate a little bit. It probably would be a pretty damn good team. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think this team's good, too.
They are. No, they are. It's not. I'm not saying that. I'm just he brings something that they don't have.
Sure.
They don't have a dude that can just shoot at the lights out like this. This dude's got a quick shot.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's quick. He's not very big, but he's quick. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see how Archie's defense handles this perimeter, dude. This guy's. I'm wondering if they're going to. I know they're not going to do a gimmick like a box and one or anything, but this guy, he commands attention.
Yeah. You
You cannot sleep on him for a second because he will throw a dagger. He's got a quick release. Pip. I mean, if you blink an eye, shot's off from 26 feet. It's good. It's like an NFL field goal. Just stand there all day. Referee just stand there, hold his hands up all day.
I don't know. You must not have watched much of the NFL this year.
Why? They don't hold their
You're
hands
missing
up?
field goals like crazy.
Oh, I'm just saying. That's why they need this dude, so they can hold their hands up.
But yeah, no, I think this Indiana team defensively, this is a game last year I'd have been really worried about this time of the year. But defensively, they're so much better than they were at this time last year. I don't know that Marcus Howard's going to be that big of a headache. He's definitely not going to drop 37. I could see him pouring in maybe 20, 21. But, I mean, you allow him 21 points, Indiana wins the ball game. I'm with you, probably by 20 points.
Emily Fitzner posted yesterday, I'm so excited to announce that I have verbally committed to play volleyball at Indiana, which we don't call her volleyball, but is there a relative?
Yeah.
Is that
That's his sister.
It is?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she was on campus, I believe, this weekend, and I guess liked it. Yeah.
She's the 12th ranked player in the country.
She's probably, what, 6'8"?
I don't know, but.
But she's tall.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's a good get. That shows you, man, when you get on campus in Indiana, it sells.
Yeah. Campus, absolutely. Just the campus itself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You just get them on campus, it's over.
Yeah. Just take them to them sample gates.
Where's he originally from? Is he from California? I know
Yeah.
Because I know St. Mary's is in California. Dude, that is a get. Wow.
Yeah, it's actually surprising because I remember when we were up there for media days, Evan was talking about how he's been in California and the West Coast his whole life.
Right.
So when he just decided to come to Indiana, he just wanted to try something new. So maybe he talked little sister into that same mindset.
Well, it worked. She's bringing her number 12th ranked volleyball playing self to Bloomington.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's a great get. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you're doing today. We appreciate you taking us along to be a part of it. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Hit us up on the text line if you want to get questions in. Matt Weaver's on the show today. We'll talk a little football. Also, Aaron Mattis from Fox 41, IU grad. We'll talk IU basketball. Probably going to slip a little Jeff Brom in there.
I got to watch him for the first time on the news the other night. He's pretty good on TV.
Oh yeah, he's a pro, man.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a pro. He's been a quarterback all of his life. He's been in a spotlight. He played quarterback at Louisville.
No, I was talking Aaron Mattis.
Well,
but yeah, Jeff Brom too.
Well, that's funny because we were talking about Jeff Brom, and you said that.
Well, you said we're going to have Aaron Mattis on, and we'll probably slip in. Oh, it's all right.
What did you say about Aaron?
He's really good on TV, I thought.
Well,
he does a nice job.
Probably why he has a job.
That's true.
It helps. Are you good on this?
I know.
No, I'm not very good. Okay, well, we'll use you anyway.
I know a few people that have jobs, and they're not very good at it.
Well, you're not lying. You may be talking to one.
You might be as well.
But, yeah, looking forward to that. My gosh, game time, tip-off, 8:30. I guess I'm getting old, but that's because I understand it. I see it in the way I look at that is if I see an 8:30 tip-off, that means I'm not getting out of Assembly Hall until 12:30.
Not getting home till 2.
It's a guaranteed 2-hour post-game work. Interviews, posting, editing, blah, 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 blah.
Hopefully it's a big blowout, so you come in with lots of energy tomorrow. You might need it.
Blowout's not going to help.
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee. Speaking of which.
502-414-1450, that text line number again if y'all have any questions you want to ask today.
Yeah, get them in if you got a question for Matt Weaver, Peaks.com, or Aaron. Ask about Jeff Brom. Ask about IU basketball, whatever you like. Ask him his birthday for all I care.
This Jeff Brom situation is going to get interesting.
Oh, baby, is it ever. He's gone to Louisville. I mean.
But let me ask you this.
Nothing is.
What is the main reason that you attribute to feeling so strongly about Jeff Brom leaving Purdue to go to Louisville?
Have you been to West Lafayette?
West Lafayette sucks, so that's your reasoning?
No, that's just a great starting place. Have you been to West Lafayette?
Yeah.
It's like driving into hell.
It's pretty awful.
It's disgusting. I mean, it's just like, okay, I'm in a war zone. It's 1930s apocalyptic America. That's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Number two, he does not. It's a lot easier. It's going to. Well, number two, it's Louisville. That's his home. Not only is that town his home. He played high school, was a high school star in Louisville at Louisville Trinity. His brother Brian was a high school star at Louisville Trinity. His brother Greg was a star at Louisville Trinity. All three went on to play at University of Louisville. Jeff Brom coached at the University of Louisville. Jeff Brom, as Rick Bozich pointed out, turned down Alabama 2 times to be their offensive coordinator. Jeff Brom turned Notre Dame down to attend there as a quarterback to go to Louisville.
So
Does
the nostalgia of Louisville alone gets him back, you think?
No, well, it's a job that has always been on his mind.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know what's in his contract. None of us do.
Right.
Some people will, but does he truly have an out in his contract for Louisville? If he does, that says a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's a fact, so I'm not going to say that it is. But it's just one of those matches that, and the time. I mean, the timing is right. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't like the fact that he's only been in where he's been for 2 years, but I don't think he expected this job to come open this soon. I don't know that anybody did.
In his eyes, does he think he can go further with Louisville as opposed to Purdue, who
Hell
plays in
yes.
that strong Big Ten West?
Exactly. That's another point I was getting to. Right now, you look at the ACC. That's a crap conference for football. Yeah. You got Clemson, and that's it.
Yeah.
Florida State's in the dump, and they're not going to go. And I don't think they're getting any better under Willie Taggart. I think that he is not what they think he is.
But this isn't going to become par for the course for Florida State. Florida State will be back up.
It's going to be a while.
3 years, maybe. At the most.
Brom turned Purdue from a 4-7 to a bowl team.
That's true.
First season. But you don't have to go, even though they're in the Big Ten West, Wisconsin's down a little bit right now.
Yeah. But, I mean, you still got to go through the East champion.
That's my point. Even though you don't have the toughest division, you still got to go through. You think Purdue's beating Michigan?
No.
Nah, I don't think so. Don't think so. But it's an easier path. It's just there's so many things. I mean, this is an opportunity he's probably dreamed about. Yeah. Not because it's Texas or USC or some big name. It is what it is.
Sometimes you don't need the big name if you're a head coach.
Well, I mean, it's not that Louisville's not a name. Yeah. I mean,
they've had a solid run.
They absolutely had a Heisman Trophy winner 2 years ago. But in stature, no, it's not a Texas. It's not a USC. It's not a Florida, Ohio State, Michigan. But the lure of trying to make it that is part of it. Yeah. And to do that in your own hometown, that's a given. I mean, it's a gimme. It's a bunny, man. It's a layup. Yeah. Of course.
A couple of texts in the show. Joker texts in 502-414-1450 if you want to do the same. Said Brom is so gone, and his answer to the media about U of L, he did not say he was not interested like most coaches would reply, and he will get any recruit out of Louisville he wants.
Where do you think Rondale Moore came from?
Yeah.
The best player on that team.
That's interesting. If he does go to Louisville, does Rondale Moore come with him? And Purdue's got a top 25 recruiting class coming in. I think they've got the number 7 recruit in the country coming in. Does he go to Louisville? Trinity and St. X will be to Louisville that Adidas is to Kansas.
That's good. Is that Joker?
Yep.
That's good. I like that.
And he also agrees with you that the road to the championship will be easier than Louisville at Purdue.
Oh, absolutely.
At Purdue.
That's we were just talking about that, of course. But I like that. That's funny. But yeah, that's a good question about Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
He'd have to sit out.
Yeah.
Dude's on top of his game right now. That'd be hard to do.
Yeah, it's a tough decision.
Because then you got to look at how long is he going to be in college? This dude's
Well, at least 3 years. Doesn't really have a choice otherwise.
why?
Isn't it 3 years, the rule? You got to be out of high school for 3 years.
That's
before
NBA, man.
No, NBA is 1 year.
Oh, that's right. The NFL is 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's not. I can't even speculate on that.
So I mean,
It's all a
he
guess.
could sit out a year and then play a year and then
Yeah, but
if he
then
has
you're-
that same type of year. But then you're risking not having that same type of year that you've had this year.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Wow. Didn't even think about that. Food for thought. We've got a ton coming up here on the program today. Matt Weaver from Peaks.com is joining us. Aaron Mattis from Fox 41 as well. We're talking IU basketball. It's game day. We'll be back with more here on Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
Watch me do the Humpty Hop. Yeah, that's the break, y'all. Let me know that bass groove right here.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for a happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Highway 50 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150.
This is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sillersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Tuesday, November 13. A typical rainy day, a little snow, a little rain, a little cold. Joined now by Mike Schumann from the Daily Hoosier. Michael, how are you?
Good, Jim. How are you? Nothing like introducing me with the gloom of the day.
Hey, I'll brighten your day. I've got Mitchell Page on with us today as well, so that should brighten
Awesome.
your day for you.
Hey, Mike.
Fantastic. How's it going, Mitchell?
I'm awesome.
I'm sure you remember covering Mitchell or when he was playing. It had to be fun as a fan to watch someone like Mitchell play. I mean, those were some great days for Indiana, that exciting offense.
Players like Mitchell were really inspirational. I mean, I don't think that's
we're laying it on thick now,
this
boy.
Is good. This is good. Keep this
I
coming.
mean, seriously though, I mean, you were the kind of player that everybody kind of looked up to and wanted to be. You know, the walk-on turned into a star of the team. Luke Timian's another example. I don't know if you guys are friends or not, but guys like you are, you know, really fun to watch and really easy to get behind and root for.
Yeah, Luke was actually my roommate in college, so we've shared some ideas and shared some motivation. Those were tough times when we weren't getting to play, but watching Luke succeed the way that he has been really cool for me to watch, just the same way you guys were watching.
Well, Mike, you'll have to go back and listen to the show prior to you coming on, because then you'll get to hear about the pigtails on the pants. So that may take him down a peg. But no, just kidding. No, but I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Ben. Just kidding. Yeah, he won. They won a national championship as the AAU team, but
couple
guys were beasts. They were killing people. But
fourth graders holding it down.
Holding it down. A lot of things going on, Mike. Soccer, big soccer time right now for Indiana, the number 2 overall seed as they head into the NCAA tournament, fresh off a Big Ten tournament win, a Big Ten tournament title with an undefeated season. They got things going, man. They're trying to pick up from last year where they were undefeated, losing only in the national championship game. This year they're getting some hardware along the way, which they've got a veteran team. If they can get those 2 guys back from the U20 from Team USA for a run in the NCAA tournament, it's going to be nice.
Yeah, and speaking of inspirational, did I hear right that you were out in the snow in Westfield last week watching that game?
Both of us, yes. We were both there, both days.
That's fantastic. I live about 15 minutes away, and I couldn't
you
bring
weren't
myself
there
to do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. It looked miserable out there.
See, all right, folks,
Friday.
you know, if you want coverage of the Hoosiers, baby, right here, we're giving it to you. Dude, it was cold. The funny thing is, I was there last year, and I remember driving up, going through Carmel. I look over, there's a faucet on the side, and it's got a 2-foot stream that's frozen. And I'm like, God. So this year, a week before, I'm thinking, it's going to be nice this year because it was like 50 degrees. Boom. No, it's like somebody said, oh, no, we got the Big Ten tournament in town. Let me hit that switch. Boom. Freezer. Wow. It was cold. But, yeah, we stuck it out, man. We were there for both games. And not only that, pulled double duty, both of us. Down after the soccer, we were down at basketball. The next day you got football. Sunday back for more soccer. It was a long weekend for both of us. But, yeah, but it was fun getting to see a lot of wins. Football team with a big win, of course, and the basketball team. Now, as we move forward, they take on Marquette tomorrow night, which will be a nice, a huge win for them because I think that's going to finally be the thing that the national media has been waiting for to see. Okay, this team's legit. I've said that they'll win by 20. They probably may not win by 20. Who knows? But I think no matter what, they win by double digits. I just don't. I think with this defense that teams like this are just man, you're not going to come into Assembly Hall and do much to Indiana right now.
I got to tell you, Jim, the words of one of our famous football coaches is coming to mind right now. Mr. Corso, not so fast, my friend. I'm very impressed by Marquette, and if I had any question in my mind, I don't know if you listened to Archie last night on his radio show, but he was bringing to mind, if you remember the games last year where IU was a home dog against like Purdue and Michigan State, and they kind of just muddled their way through it and scrapped and clawed and found a way to keep the game close. The way he was describing that game tomorrow is that it's going to have to look like that for IU to win. Now, of course, that's somewhat coach speak. I mean, they always kind of prop up the opponent, but I've seen Marquette play once, and I know a lot about their guard, Marcus Howard, who's probably going to be the best guard that IU faces all year, maybe save for Carson. Yeah, save for Carson Edwards. The one thing about Howard I was curious about, and this kind of blew my mind, is I was thinking, okay, does he put up these points against kind of the bad teams on their schedule and kind of inflate his stats? And so I was looking at his game log last year. His biggest games were on the road against the best teams. He put up 52 at Providence. He's put up 37 at Villanova. He was in the 30s at Seton Hall. So, I mean, this guy, he's one of those guys that steps up to the challenge and likes the environment. So, you know, if Archie, you know, I know Archie told the crowd to get after the top player, that might be the wrong thing to do. You might get this guy going, and he might drop 50 on you.
Mitchell, jump in. What does that do? Archie has told the students, when they had the open student practice this year, one of the things he told them was pick out the best player on every team during the home season and just boo him. Just go after him, which I think is funny, and they've kind of done that a little bit. But what would that be like as a player if you're the guy coming in to the opposing team and they have just picked you out and they're going to boo you relentlessly? Does that happen in Assembly Hall? It's going to be loud too. So, does that affect him? Does it not affect him?
I don't think there's any way it doesn't affect him. It goes back to what I was saying with Brom and the coach and the players just trying to focus on winning and how big of a distraction it can be. I mean, that this kid's going to be, whoever it is going to be at least thinking about it a little bit, and that's all you need. When you go into Assembly Hall, you don't need to be thinking about anything but putting the ball in the basket. And I love it, personally. I think it engages the fans. It makes the students excited to go to the games. I think it's one of the best things that IU's done in a long time on the basketball team, just because it's so engaging. I've been there a couple times. I didn't know what was happening. I was even distracted. I can't imagine what that kid's going to be like when he's trying to deal with how big and long and fast IU is on defense, trying to put the ball in the basket while he's got these knucklehead fans screaming at him every time he touches it. I think it's awesome.
I found it funny, Mike. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Mitchell, I mean, do you think that there are some athletes that kind of draw energy from it and actually get better in that sort of situation?
Potentially. I don't think right away. I don't think it's something that happens and you hear it and then you turn a switch and you're better. There's going to be at least some time when you're trying to figure out why they're yelling at you and why they won't stop yelling at you, where you're going to be thinking about that instead of playing basketball. And I think all they're looking, any advantage you can get is that's what they're looking for. I think there could be players, I guess, I would have a hard time believing that would at least affect you negatively in some way.
Yeah, and I think it's funny. I saw on a lot of the fan boards when it first came up, people were, you had some of the I call it the Bob Knight effect of, well, we don't do that at Indiana, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm tired of that crap. I think it's fun. Like, you hit it on the nail on the head. I think it's fun. I think it engages the students. It's all in good fun. I'd rather them boo than say some of the stuff I've heard said in the last couple of years, especially when Grayson Allen was there last year. I promise you. Booing would have been a lot more acceptable than what I heard going down, raining down from there. But I think it's fun and funny, and it gives that, you know, it's a Cameron Crazies kind of a thing. They affect the game. It's one of there's a reason why Duke is so successful, not just because they've been giving a bunch of talent the courtesy of the shoe companies, but it's a tough place to play at Cameron Indoor because of the student involvement.
And the funny thing about you mentioning Bob Knight, Jim, is when I heard that Archie asked the kids to do that, the first thing that came to mind is when I was at IU, and this is gonna make me sound old to Mitchell, but you might even remember this.
Are you talking about Bob Knight grabbing the microphone? I bet.
No, that's another one. But when I was there in the early '90s, we played Michigan State, and they had a guard named Sean Respert, who I think he led the Big Ten in scoring that year. And the entire game, we were down. That was one of the games where we had the floor seats behind the basket, and we were yelling his name the entire game. Respert. He dropped 42 that game. I think Michigan was number 1 in the country at the time. We beat them, but that was during the Knight era, and he didn't grab the mic and tell us to stop as he was prone to do. So I mean, it's not. People try to embellish and say things about the Knight era that are a little bit exaggerated.
Well, that guy was kind of crazy in his own. Like I didn't grow up watching the Hoosiers when Bob Knight was the coach, but I mean, as a younger person, my perception of Bob Knight is he was a phenomenal coach, won a lot of games, but I have a picture still in my house of him throwing a chair across the court. So booing a player is really not. It's harmless fun. I think if anyone believes otherwise, I think they're living in kind of the wrong place. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good for basketball. I think it's good for the team, and I think it's great for the fans.
Yeah, and especially a place like Assembly Hall. Assembly Hall is an advantage. I mean, it is people. If you haven't been there, when you hear them talking about how loud it is there, it's not made up. It is because the structure of Assembly Hall is so vertical. And we talked about that earlier when we were talking about with Mitch playing in Ann Arbor at the Big House. I've been there. It's louder in the stands because I remember being there with one of my roommates, a football player, and I'm having to cup my hands and scream into his ear to tell him something. But that's because that's where all the noise is, where the fans are. But Mitch said on the field it kind of evaporates up. But that's not the case at Assembly Hall. It rains down on you.
Yeah,
it can make you.
It's a different type of environment. It's similar. Ohio State is that way as well, where everything's right on top of you. Ohio State football. It makes a huge difference when the sound rains down on you constantly. It messes with your vision, messes with your thinking, messes with your concentration. It's a huge advantage, and anything they can do to take advantage of that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think it makes players anxious. I think opposing players a lot of times look rushed and look like that they're making decisions that clearly seem to be impacted by the crowd. So there's no doubt. I mean, the only reason Indiana was staying in those games last year, in my mind, against Duke and Michigan State and Purdue, beyond just some fantastic effort, was the fact that the crowd played a big role, and Archie alluded to that last night too. I mean, he thinks it's going to be one of those games where it's just an electric environment, and I think that's right.
Well, and one of the questions posed to Deron Davis, I meant to say this earlier, he's kind of impressing me with he's coming as far as I didn't think he'd be this far along. He played some solid minutes in that last game.
He did, and Marquette has a post player that runs like 6'9", 250, so I think this is a game where he's probably going to have as much of a role as he can tolerate, as much as his body will stand. So I've been impressed. You can still see that he's a step slow out there even for him. I mean, he's not the best athlete in the world to begin with, but you can still see that he's getting his conditioning right. But he looks good. And hey, he was 2 for 2 from the line.
You know what? I circled that and meant to talk about that because again, Indiana's having some free throw shooting woes, but Deron Davis, he went 2 for 2 in his shots, baby.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Mitchell, from your standpoint, the free throw shooting for Indiana has been a little less than stellar last season, and it's kind of continued this season very, very early on. But that, to me, that is an important ingredient that they've got to get a handle on, especially with this team, because this team should be doing better at that. And if they're not, I really wonder why are they not hitting free throws? I don't get it. These guys are good shooters.
Yeah, this is so cliched, but they are free. In the Big Ten, it's going to be hard to get good shots. When you get a chance to get points, you got to make them. And there's all kinds of things that can be going into free throw shooting. You go into slumps. Some of the guys are young, whatever excuse you want to make, but they do need to start making free throws, and they need to start making them quick. Marquette comes in tomorrow, and the schedule only gets tougher from there. So it's time to start growing up for the younger guys and putting the ball in the basket.
And ironically, as we're talking about this, I've got ESPN on in the background, and they're showing notable bad free throw shooters. And these guys are banking it off of the side of the bank board. And these, I'm talking, some of these guys are NBA. This Joakim Noah was just on there. They're shooting air balls. It's unbelievable. So it's kind of funny. But, yeah, I just have never understood that. But anyway, hopefully they'll get that together. But, Mike, I can't thank you enough, man. Mike Schumann from the Daily Hoosier, dailyhoosier.com. Make sure you check out free IU content. Where can they find everything, Mike?
Yeah, dailyhoosier.com, or find us on Twitter at daily_Hoosier, or check out our Facebook page as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you again next week, man.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great one.
You as well, Mitchell. I hope you have a great day. What do you got planned for the rest of the week? Well, there's a great place to cut that off. Mitchell Page and Mike Schumann with us from yesterday. I'll always like to bring that back for those who miss it in the earlier hour.
No one cares what Mitchell's doing the rest of the week.
I can't wait till we come back, because I've got to play my man Mike Leach. Love Mike Leach. Talking about if there's an all-out brawl between Pac-12 coaches, who would be the last coach standing? Mike Leach talks about that when we come back. Lots more on Indiana Sports Beat right after this. Stay tuned.
Keep your hands to yourself.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in
every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. This hour of Indiana Sports Beat is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. With hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Wednesday, November 14th. Missing out there, Justin.
Hump day. You said Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
I know, but you normally come back with hump day.
That's you that says hump day. Maybe I do. I don't know. You're probably right. College football playoffs. We're going to talk about that. But before we get to that, a couple of my favorites. Captain Andrew Luck. His latest post. If you don't follow Captain Andrew Luck on Twitter, you're missing out. And if you go there, Justin, you'll see that now there's Captain Andrew Luck's wife, mother, father.
Get out of here.
Oh yeah, they're all trying to chime in.
You think it's the same guy running all of them?
No, it's not. He doesn't respond to them. as nor should he. Not give him any credibility. It's worth the read though if you go there. But anyway, his latest post. Dearest mother, word has reached me that Titans of Industry out of the 10C are headed towards our home camp. They seek battle with the goal of halting our success in recent skirmishes. We shall not have it. There is too much light in the tunnel now. We are poised. Andrew.
Too much light in the tunnel.
The Titans of Industry out of the 10C. It took me a minute to figure that out. I have to be honest up front. I'm like,
oh, that's one of the easier ones.
I was thinking through it too hard, I think. Tennessee, obviously. But, and then Mike Leach, also one of my absolute favorites. This dude is a quote machine because he'll talk about anything that makes no sense. Or he was asked in his press conference about if the coaches of the Pac-12 were to duke it out, who'd be the last man standing? And in perfect Mike Leach fashion, he answered the question.
Then Herm Edwards is in great shape. Let me think, am I missing anybody? And I don't really care if they get ticked off. Because actually, privately, I think I would, but we're going to be more modest than that. I'm going to say Kyler Herm for sure. Kyler Herm.
And why is that?
Well, they're both in shape. For a while, I mean, simple. At this age, if you're in shape, you got a chance. They're both in great shape. You know, you look. I mean, they're both in shape. They both exercise. They, and then, pretty good.
Oh well, that's enough. perfect timing to have had Herm Edwards on there. You play to win the game.
I still can't believe he's coaching in the Pac-12.
He's there, baby. Apparently, he'd be one of the last men standing. College football playoffs, latest standings are out. Not much of a change, like Justin mentioned earlier, with no movement in the top 10 for the first time. Was that ever?
Ever in the college football playoff rankings? Yeah,
that's something. But obviously, the top remains the same. Alabama, Clemson at the top, followed by unbeaten Notre Dame and Michigan in that fourth spot. Georgia, Oklahoma, the two teams sitting on the outside right now. Georgia with the least chance of that because they'll have to go through Alabama.
Yeah.
They'll get their chance. But here's my question. Let's say the SEC title game comes about and Georgia knocks Alabama off. There's no way that Georgia does not go in, but there's no way that Alabama comes out.
So it'd be the second straight year of having two SEC teams.
Well, who's going to get knocked out?
Let's be honest, Alabama's not getting beat.
Well, I don't
we
think
can play
so.
hypotheticals all you want, but Georgia's not beaten.
I agree. I agree. I don't see that happening.
Is there a team?
But it's happened. Did you think that Auburn was going to return a short field goal a couple years ago, 175 yards for a touchdown to beat them? Stuff happens, man. I mean, I agree with you. On the surface, if you look at it now, it's probably not going to happen. But what if? That gives us something to talk about. What if? That means Michigan would get knocked out. A Big Ten, and let's say they go through and they win the Big Ten, the whole deal. Then you've got that Notre Dame team that.
Yeah, no, that's where my head was at. If Michigan wins the Big Ten tournament, or the Big
It's
Ten
not going to matter.
championship,
Everybody's going to stand on the fact that Notre Dame beat Michigan at the beginning of the year, and which I think is crap because they're different teams now.
Well, here's the thing. When this whole college football playoff thing started and we were trying to figure out how it all worked a few years ago, one of their major sticking points was conference championships.
Exactly.
Notre Dame doesn't play in a conference championship. So I think if that situation does play out, Notre Dame's dropped.
I think that it should be.
Yeah.
It should be that way.
It'd kind of be hypocritical to not do that at this point.
They didn't make it in last year.
Sure.
Ohio State did not make it in last year. They won the Big Ten.
That's true. But it wasn't Notre Dame that took their place, right? I mean, you had Oklahoma who had played in the conference championship, and then you had who was the third one, the fourth one?
It can be tricky. Well, you got Clemson. I mean, obviously Clemson's a good team, but who they played?
Right. Yeah, they've had a cakewalk all year long.
You play in the worst conference in the Power Five.
Right.
Absolute worst conference in the Power Five, hands down. So it's a tricky deal. I mean, but at the end of the day, does it matter? Because who the hell's beating Alabama?
Right. Is there anybody that can beat Alabama?
I don't know. I'm going to look forward to. I hope the standings stay the way they are right now, because, and they will, most likely. That means Alabama will be playing Michigan, so Michigan will have their opportunity to flex that defensive muscle and see what they can do.
You know how many points a game Michigan's allowing defensively?
If I had to guess, I'd say 11, 9.
12. That's incredible in college football.
I bet you'd be more impressed if you look to see the yards they're giving up or not giving up. That is most impressive.
Looking at Clemson's schedule, what a joke. They're going to go to the playoff and get smoked by somebody.
No, they're a good team still.
I don't know.
I think they're a good team. But it's hard to tell, but how do you know?
They played Georgia Southern. They played Furman. And then, of course, the ACC, like we talked about, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Wake Forest. That's just horrible teams.
Syracuse is not bad.
Yeah, I guess they're in the top 25 now.
But not bad. They're just not bad.
Right.
They're a very mid-level team. So, but they play no one out. Even when they play the ACC championship, who the hell are they going to play? Who's winning that division?
I think Virginia.
They were.
If I'm being honest.
That's how bad that conference is. That's how horrific that conference is. Virginia was leading that division. Now, they're not now, I believe. They lost. But they were a team that lost to Indiana. That tells you how weak the ACC is.
Pittsburgh now.
Oh, Pittsburgh. What is Pittsburgh's record?
5-1 in conference play.
No, I'm talking about overall.
Overall, they are 6-4.
6-4. They're one win away from being at 500.
A la Indiana.
That's the best you got. That is the best you got. They're one game better than Indiana. So what you're telling me is Indiana would be second team in that division right now.
Get a win this weekend, and you move up to 1.
That is how awful the ACC is. So I don't know that Clemson's that good. That's all on prognostication.
Yeah. Clemson doesn't impress me. Same thing with Notre Dame. Not impressed.
And the thing is, they're going to get Notre Dame. So they're going to probably get a cakewalk to the national championship game again. It's crap.
But I think you would have people on the other side, on the Notre Dame side, making that same argument that they'll have a cakewalk. Truthfully, Clemson,
Notre Dame has a cakewalk.
Clemson, if Clemson and Notre Dame played, truthfully, I think that'd be a hell of a game.
Oh, yeah, it will be a good game. But I don't think that they're necessarily the two best teams.
No, they're not the teams that should be in it. I agree with that.
But Oklahoma, you just got to win, man. Go undefeated. That's what Notre Dame's doing. But, of course, and Notre Dame, they did beat Northwestern at Northwestern. And now Northwestern is not a top 10 team, but they're
25.
a top 20 team.
Mm-hmm.
They're a good team. They gave Michigan all they wanted, but Michigan beat Northwestern. So I think Michigan's better than Notre Dame now, personally.
Oh,
but
yeah.
we won't get the chance to see them play again, unfortunately.
Text in the show, 502-414-1450 if you would like to do the same. Transitioning a little bit now to basketball, Yo Smith texts in and says, IU needs Durham on Howard most of the game. I think he can bother him the most.
Yeah, I was thinking they're going to put, I think, a combination of Val Durham, Devontae Green, just to pester the crap out of him.
Well, Devontae Green's not a sure thing to play.
Well, that's why I thought that I saw that he was available.
Him and Zach McRoberts are game time decisions, according to Archie.
We don't have enough history to know what game time decision really means yet.
Right.
Because after a while, a couple years into the regime, you can
figure it out.
You know exactly when they say this, okay, he means this.
Yeah.
So don't know exactly what game time decision means just yet. But yeah, I agree with you. Who said that text?
Yo Smith.
I agree with you, sir. You are dead on. And I think Al Durham is probably the most ball hawker that would fit that bill tonight.
Archie Miller was asked last night when previewing Marquette about what it would take guarding Marcus Howard. Let's see what he had to say.
Every perimeter guy, everybody on the team, it's always a team approach. But, individually when you're matched up on him, that's a tough deal now. I mean, you're going to have to be willing to understand he's going to make some tough ones. He's got a live dribble. He's got the ultimate green light. He's not going to stop attacking. He's a 40-minute guy, and you just have to be really tough-minded. And as we head into this one, all of our perimeter guys are going to have to do a good job. But as a team, we're going to have to really be aware of where he's at and what he's doing. So it's going to put a lot of responsibility on some young guys in the game. It's going to put some responsibility on all five guys really being detailed and understanding that he's going to get some, but he's got to make it hard on him.
Yeah, this dude, man, if you haven't seen him shoot, he's a shooter. He's a scatterbug, man. He can jet around. He's quick. Yeah, they're going to be chasing him because he moves. He moves without the ball.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's not a spot-up shooter. This dude is moving constantly. He's like a shark. Sharks never stop moving. This dude is always moving like a shark. Boom, boom, boom. Without the ball, moving. And that's a mark of a great player, a great offensive player. But that also tells me when you got a guy that's doing that, he's your guy. And everybody And if you got just a guy, you got a shot. But that's all you got is a shot. You're not – Indiana doesn't have the guy. They got guys. Yeah. And I think that even – he's going to get his, man. He's going to get his 20, 22, 24 points probably. But everybody else going to get shut down.
Yeah, and I think the point that Archie was trying to make there is a lot like you were saying. He is a guy that moves without the ball. He moves with the ball. He's very good when he's on the floor in general. So it's going to take a whole team effort defensively for Indiana tonight to be aware of where he's at all times. Make sure you know where Marcus Howard is. Don't let that guy burn you. Like you said, they have the one guy. I mean, they have talent across the roster. Don't get me wrong, but like you said, that's their main guy. That's going to be their scorer majority of the time. You can shut him down. Indiana's got a shot.
Oh, they got more than a shot.
For a big win.
We'll talk about it a lot more when we come back after the break, but let's get to it. We'll be back with Matt Weaver from Peegs.com. Also, Aaron Mattis from Fox 41 joins us today. We're talking more Hoosier basketball. It's game day on Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. This hour of Indiana Sports Beat is brought to you by Brooks Roofing. Brooks Roofing is an Indiana contractor with over a decade of service. Find Brooks Roofing at brooksroofinyin.com. We're probably working in your neighborhood right now.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Wednesday, Hump Day, November 14.
Hump Day.
Great show today. Matt Weaver on the program from Peaks.com. Aaron Mattis, Fox 41. IU grad will be joining us. Text into the show, 502-414-1450. Let us know what you think, questions, opinions, whatnot. Let's get to the headlines first with Justin high atop the Crew Chiefs box.
All right, here are your headlines for this Wednesday, November 14th, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. The NFL moves the Chiefs-Rams game from Mexico City to L.A. due to bad field conditions. A number of players were going to sit out that game had it been played in Mexico City. Le'Veon Bell does not report to the Steelers and will not play this season. He will become a free agent at the end of the year. The new college football rankings looked a lot like last week's. That's because the whole top 10 did not change for the first time in the history of the college football playoff rankings. And Armand Franklin signs with Indiana today on his basketball scholarship. Those are your headlines for this November 14th, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
A little drama in the NBA. Draymond Green. A little drama, I should call it. Drama.
Ooh.
A little drama.
Pretty clever.
A little Draymond Green and Kevin Durant separated after a game the other night.
Did you see why?
Yeah.
Draymond's an idiot.
Of course he's an idiot. Did you just
What
learn that?
An idiot. You know who it reminded me of? And I don't think this
Just
guy's
don't say
an
me.
idiot. I don't think this guy's an idiot, but it reminded me a lot of Devontae Green. Just like,
Trying to do too much.
yeah, don't just pump the brakes.
You're surrounded by elite talent, but yet you insist on trying to be the guy.
Yeah.
If you didn't see it, it was a game against, what was it, the Rockets?
I think the Clippers.
Clippers? I guess they're down one or two, at least down one. And
No, they were tied because it went to overtime.
Oh, okay. Well, they have a chance to win the game. Draymond Green bringing the ball up the floor. Why, I don't know. But instead of finding a wide-open Kevin Durant, one of your premier players, what's he do? He's going to try to keep it and be the man, and what do you do? Turn it over. And then they were discussing it on the sidelines, and they had to be separated.
Yeah.
Now he's suspended, though, without pay.
Yeah. That was for last night's game.
Right.
So, but yeah, Kevin Durant was standing wide open at the free throw line as Draymond grabbed that rebound, and Draymond just was, I think I'm going to take this coast to coast, dribbles it off of his toe, falls down. It just looked like a clown show.
And I saw him, and I could read Durant's lips when they're on the sideline, and the last thing I saw him say was, I'm just trying to win a basketball game, man.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to win a basketball game.
And he said that several times. I'm just trying to play basketball, and I'm just trying to win this basketball game.
Where Draymond Green, his head is up his, you know what?
Yeah.
Arse.
A couple texts in the show, 502-414-1450 if you want to do the same. JR texted in and asked, do you think Tom Crean will curl up next to a fire tonight and watch this game like a proud papa?
That's a great question.
Speaking of Crean, they put up, I think, 110 his first game. Not bad.
Their plane slid off the runway.
Did it?
Yeah, before they could get to where they were going. They
I
had
missed
to.
that.
There's construction at the airport they usually leave, so they had to go out of South Carolina or something. And it slid off it was a different runway, and so they weren't used to it. And the front end thing just went off the runway. Nothing bad, but it jacked the landing gear up, so they had to it delayed them.
Well, there you go.
But to answer the question, no, I think he's going to curl up in a fetal position and cry, thinking, "What I could have been there, but I'm in the lowly SEC in Georgia." Because Marquette is ranked. Yeah. Indiana is about to be ranked after they spank Marquette tonight. Georgia? Nah, not so much. But you know what? I think it's a great place for him, to be honest with you. Good text, actually. That's a great text. But I think it's a great place for him. No pressure. The expectations are low. He's going to have time to grow, and I think he'll probably do fine down there.
Absolutely.
He's just not built for Indiana. He's not an elite coach. He did a good job of getting Indiana back and doing it without cheating, without getting him in trouble. So he did a good job. It was time for him to go. It was a little bit past time for him to go, but he'll be fine where he is. It's a good place for him, but it's a good text.
And Tim also texted in. He brought up the plane incident as well. Tom Crean had a rough start for his first road game. Team's plane ran off the runway, yada, yada.
Yeah, no, but thanks a lot for the text, Tim.
And then Joker texts in and says, does Armand Franklin get in TJD's ear during the signing period and get him to sign?
Do you know I'm so past TJD? I'm done. I'm like, I don't care where he goes. I really don't. I'm more concerned with Keon Brooks.
Yeah.
The one who's not a prima donna.
Right. Which you kind of thought it was going to be the opposite at the beginning of this thing, right?
I mean,
we all thought TJD would be the one to commit. Keon Brooks would be the one to drag it out. But it's been the complete opposite.
I agree. Yes, absolutely. Keon's not doing anything different.
Right.
Of course, he's not also running around waving a flag and look at me all the time. I need to sit back and evaluate these coaches and how they play because I am 17 years old and I know everything there is to know about basketball.
I've got a voice of a 65-year-old.
Exactly. I'm over it, man. I'm done with that crap.
All right, well, then let's shift gears to football. Mad Dog texts in. Pretty good one here. He says, you guys are goofy. Clemson is the only team that has a chance to beat Bama, and the Cuse will beat the Irish this weekend. Go ahead, Justin, and bet a pizza on it.
Hey, I love it.
I think I'm good on it. I think I'm good on my pizza.
You are definitely right about one thing. We are goofy as hell. You ain't lying. But Clemson's a good team.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are a good team. They're built. They're built for a championship. They've got the pieces.
I don't know.
Any school that can do what they did at quarterback, a la Alabama last year in the national championship game. First of all, it takes a big old set of onions to do that. But secondly, it takes the talent. Yep. That's how much talent those schools have. It's sick, but that's what they got. Oh, you can't go? Here, let me plug this dude in. They are a good team, but they have not been tested. We don't know how good they really are and how they will perform against an elite team. That's what I want to see. But there's no doubt they're badass. Man, they're just big, deep, strong, fast, whatever you want.
To be completely honest with you, though, I think with their defensive unit, I think Michigan's got a better shot than Clemson.
Well, the only thing about Michigan is their offense isn't for crap. It's kind of like, it reminds me of Denver when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Their defense won that. The defense led that entire season. Denver did not have an offense. Peyton was so done, he couldn't hardly throw the ball. He was like Peyton Ramsey, throwing 5-6 yard passes all day long. Well, the old Peyton Ramsey, I guess I should say now.
New and improved.
Exactly. But, yeah, Michigan is, man, their defense is great, but you got to have a little offense. And then you look at teams like Alabama, they got a lot of offense. Tua's he's Tua-licious.
Yeah.
Just made that up. I was trying to think of something else, but that's what came out. Tuoloptic.
I like Tualicious.
Tualicious. But, yeah, it's – I don't know that Michigan has a chance to beat Alabama just because they don't have any offense for very little of it.
I mean, if you want me to be completely honest, nobody's going to beat Bama. And I don't know that anybody has a
Clemson
shot.
may be the only
If we're being realistic, I don't think anybody.
It certainly isn't Notre Dame. I can damn well tell you that.
No.
I don't think Notre Dame could beat any of those three teams, and I don't care that they beat Michigan at the beginning of the year. That was 2.5 months ago. These teams are different. The players are different. Hell, Notre Dame doesn't even have the same quarterback, I don't think.
Yeah, they flip-flop back and forth.
But that may be true. I don't know that anybody does have a chance to beat Alabama other than Clemson, to be truth be told.
Going back to Tom Crean, Joker says he's at a football school. Nobody cares what the basketball team does. Pretty good point.
Exactly. It's better than being at a basketball school where nobody cares about football and you're the basketball coach.
Yeah.
Because he –
a la Indiana.
Yeah, that was not the great fit. But, yeah, you're right. I think that's a good spot for him.
And then Kevin also texts in, says this team should be glad that we have Rob and not Garland trying to hog all the shots.
You know, that's another great point. How would this team be different if that were the case? Yeah. I mean, Rob Phinisee is the consummate point guard. He just plays point guard. He's looking to do what he's supposed to do. Move the ball. Find the man. Run the offense. Don't make mistakes. Stay calm. Check, 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 check. Dude's killing it. Freshman. Get used to it. You got 4 years of this coming. What's he going to be like next year? And the year after that?
If you think about Rob Phinisee being here 4 years and that just doesn't make you want to sit back in your chair and let out a big smile, I don't know what will.
Oh, what do you think Archie feels like right now?
And you got help coming in next
Big
year with Armand
relief.
Franklin.
Big old sigh of relief. I mean, it's that part. Because obviously the defense comes around fast. Now you get the offense to go with it, they're going to kill people. When you throw a blanket on people and they can't score, but you're getting up and down the floor 100 miles an hour and putting the ball in the bucket, it's a great recipe. Yep. Keep the text coming. You guys are killing it. Love it, man. 502-414-1450. We've got Matt Weaver from Pigs.com coming up, as well as Aaron Mattis from Fox 41. IU grad. We're talking more basketball when we come back here on Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Kentuckiana's Premier Truck Center, located 5 miles north of downtown Louisville, just off of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Hump Day, November 14. Joined now by Matt Weaver from Pigs.com. Matthew, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
We're at it, man. At it. Another great day, midway through the week. Game day for basketball. I mean, a big week for Indiana football as they're coming off a nice win over Maryland to keep their bowl hopes alive. Great shot of adrenaline for that program.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was desperately needed, obviously, after four losses in a row, and it didn't kind of look good early on. They got off to a slow start, which has kind of been. Unfortunately, it's kind of been the MO for this team this year, but really played well there and had to hold on at the end, but made some plays and overall did a nice job. It's good to see the passing game, put their foot on the gas a little bit and throw the ball downfield.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this week they have to go up to the Big House and take on Michigan, and they are currently, I think, an 86-point underdog in that game. Actually, what is the spread, like 26, I think?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, this is obviously. I mean, it goes without saying this is a really good team. I mean, defensively they're incredible. And then, the biggest problem Michigan's had, and at least in the Jim Harbaugh years, is offensively they just haven't been very. They haven't been very consistent and really haven't had the offense to compete. But Shea Patterson's made a difference. They're much better this year offensively, and I know a lot of people are picking them to go to Ohio State the following week and beat them and play for the Big Ten title and be one of the teams in the playoff. And that wouldn't shock me at all because they look like they're really playing their best football at the right time.
There are so many different angles to this game this week. You got Indiana coming off their best performance of the season, no doubt, offensively. Hands down, their best performance. You got Michigan, who is rolling, but they've got Ohio State next week. So it's got to be hard for them not to overlook Indiana a little bit with them coming. Then on the Indiana side, though, you got the Purdue thing coming up. They're the next game after this. But in Jeff Brom, there's so many different storylines going on right now with this. But what's the best scenario? Indiana has given Michigan fits for the last couple of years. Haven't been able to beat them, but they've taken them to double overtime, taken them to overtime, played well against them. Any chance that Michigan is overlooking Indiana and with Indiana riding the high of that offensive performance last week, they can at least make some noise in Ann Arbor?
Well, I think you'd hope so. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Michigan, I know that what their players will say this week. I'm sure they're saying that, they're not going to, but it's just human nature. I mean, obviously, they've never beaten Ohio State with Harbaugh, and they know what's at stake if they when they go up there, assuming they win this weekend. And it's Indiana. I'm sure they're like, hey, the 5-5 Indiana team had been struggling, held on to beat a team that they blew out, a few weeks before in Maryland. So, you may get them coming out a little bit flat. Harbaugh's been around the block, obviously, as a coach. I'm sure he'll have them try to be as focused as you can. But, you're dealing with young people, and sometimes their minds wander, so to speak. So, you might get them a little bit flat. I mean, to me, if you're Indiana, come out and just be aggressive like you were last week. It's going to be a tough game. Let's be honest. I mean, even if they play their A game, even if they played almost a near perfect game, it's still going to be really hard because Michigan's so talented. They're really good. Don Brown is a fantastic D coordinator. I think a win for Indiana is you go in there, you're competitive, and hopefully you come out of it, without losing it. You get anybody really beat up or hurt for the bucket game.
I agree, and then I know I'm not a coach, so I don't have to follow the rules. I'm not, and I'm not going to. There's no way to ignore the Jeff Brom effect at Purdue right now. How is that not becoming a major distraction for those guys as they're fighting for bowl eligibility because they're sitting at 5 wins with a tough but winnable game for them this week against Wisconsin?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I know some people wondered because, Petrino was obviously fired the day after, this past Sunday. Did Purdue know when they played at Minnesota? I just think they played a bad game. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I just think, part of me wonders if maybe, it was a little bit the weather. I mean, his offense they didn't do anything. And then defensively, obviously, they weren't great. But it'll be interesting to see how they play. Wisconsin is a little bit down this year, by Wisconsin standards. Their quarterback's been hurt. They're not as good defensively. So, if Purdue's flat this week, and you wonder if maybe it is kind of impacting that team and that program, all the rumors, because obviously he has not really done anything to shoot down the rumors. I mean, he didn't come out and say, obviously, but he didn't say anything in his press conference this week that was unequivocal. I'm staying at Purdue. So, it'll be interesting to see how they play. I mean, if they lose and if what everybody expects Indiana loses, you're going to have the same scenario you had last year, 2 5-6 teams playing for the bucket and for bowl eligibility.
And completely switching gears right now, I hate to throw this curveball at you, but Zach Smith, the nut job screwball, former assistant at Ohio State, have you ever seen anything as crazy as this playing out in the national media, like the things that he's calling Tom Herman of Texas out on? This is mind-boggling. It's a soap opera.
Yeah, I read his. I was on his. I don't follow him on Twitter, but somebody said I got a text that Zach Smith's going crazy on Twitter, so I went to his page and. Tom Herman may be a bad dude. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, I agree.
I don't cover Ohio,
but I don't care.
But, this isn't how you do it. I mean, this isn't how you do it. I mean, I think the guy's had issues with substance abuse in the past, and I mean, what that looked like to me is he went and had a little bit of fun with some substances and got on Twitter, which is not a good idea because that was completely out of control. I mean, like you said, it was crazy. I've never seen, but this is the world we live in with social media. I mean, this is what people do. It's so I try to be very, very careful with my Twitter account, and it's just not the place to do that. But it's. Yeah, I can't believe that guy was coaching at Ohio State University.
That was my question. I go, how can a guy this unhinged, this much of a nut job, have been in a major position for as long as he was? It's crazy because there's no way that level of crazy has not come out before.
Oh yeah, and if you think about it, every assistant coach at Ohio State, they got one of the probably 5 best jobs of their position in the country. So he has one of the best 5 wide receiver jobs in the country. I mean, because he's at Ohio State. I mean, it's a top 5 program. You may even see better than that. I mean, all those guys have one of the best jobs in the industry, and you just wonder. I mean, obviously we know what he's done in the past. I mean, we know he got in trouble for, and there's obviously some serious issues there. But man, that was just, and then the text that he I don't know if he screenshot the text messages he sent to Herman. It's wow. I mean, yeah, there's obviously some serious issues there. I don't think I'm saying anything too profound when I make that statement.
No, and obviously that's not a good look for the game itself. It's not a good look for Ohio State. And then you got this Brett Murphy thing rearing its head again, where he makes these accusations of a racial tension, of racial incident between the coach, but all those have been denied by everybody involved. So that's not a good look for Brett McMurphy.
No, I mean, the first thing he, doing the Zach Smith thing, I thought he came out looking like he did a pretty good job. This looks like a witch hunt now. He looks unprofessional and petty. I mean, basically, he wrote a story and he said this is what allegedly happened, and then he basically says everybody denied it in the story. I didn't really understand the point of the story. I think he looks bad here, and it looks like he's now trying to make it personal with Urban Meyer for whatever reason. I don't know what their history is. There must be something there, but it looks like it's a witch hunt, and it's kind of become he's losing credibility in my opinion. He probably should have left it alone after the Zach Smith thing, because this, like some of those players said, if that guy did use that word to that receiver, the N-word, and all those other, African American players were there and they didn't do anything. I don't believe that. I've been at a football practice. There's no way that would just go without something happening. Players would just be up in arms, and rightfully so. They should be. That's unacceptable. So I find it hard to believe that happened, but he's just coming off as really, really petty and unprofessional, in my opinion.
I agree wholeheartedly, and it's just like I said, it's not a good look at all. And for any of those guys, this has become a living soap opera amongst all of them. And so it was so bad that Florida reached out to McMurphy and said, please stop contacting this kid's mother, who he's transferred to Florida. But he's been pestering them, and the school had to reach out and say, please stop. That's bad.
And you wonder if even though it'll probably, I mean, you wonder if all this stuff combined, and then Urban Meyer with you wonder if he's. I know he said he's coming back, but you wonder if he really is. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens, especially if Ohio State loses to Michigan at home. If maybe they kind of if there is a changing of the guard over in Columbus, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Maybe him losing will make him want to come back because they don't make it to the playoff. But it just seems like he doesn't look like he's well on the sideline. He looks like he's almost in pain every week, even when they're winning. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in a couple weeks with that program.
Yeah, it was the Indiana game where he is dropped to a knee because of the headache thing, whatever he's got going there. But I read that before the season started that this would be his last season. And now with all this stuff that's going on, I don't see him coming back. I mean, if he is indeed dealing with those health issues, he can't be as good for the team as he could be, and so it's just I don't expect him back personally.
Yeah, and it becomes a distraction recruiting. Now, obviously, at Ohio State, they're one of those programs that can kind of rise above the distractions, but it's tough. I mean, when you're recruiting against Alabamas and Michigans and Penn States and all those big-time schools for players, they're going to use that against you. I mean, it's just the way it is. Call it negative recruiting, I know, but that's just the way it is. It's what people do. I mean, you try to get every edge you can, and if they're like, hey, he's got the, that's why. I mean, at some point, you've either it's got to be handled head on, or they got to come out and say, yeah, he's our coach for the foreseeable future, or whatever. But it's going to hurt you in recruiting. And Ohio State, even if they slip a little bit, they're still going to be like top 10 or 15 in the country recruiting. But for them, that's not good enough for what they want. I mean, they want to be top 3 or 4 every year, and that's what they are. I mean, for a few years, they've been number 1. So it's just a distraction overall. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see what the statement is after the Michigan game about his future with the Buckeyes.
College football playoff scenario that keeps the latest polls out. No change in the AP top 10, but no change in the top 4 of the College Football Selection Committee, which I think are the right 4 teams right now. I don't like Notre Dame personally, but you've got Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Michigan, which I think Michigan is a better team than Notre Dame now, but it doesn't matter. We'll see. The most likely change, if there is a change amongst the teams, what do you think would be the most likely scenario of a change, that top 4 changing?
I would say I'm trying to think here. Georgia and Alabama play in the SEC title game, and Georgia upsets them. Then maybe I don't think Alabama's getting knocked out.
That's what I said. That's a great question. I brought that up earlier. What happens if Georgia beats Alabama? There's no way you're taking Alabama out, and there's no way you could keep Georgia out.
No, the only way I think Alabama could be out, and I'm not sure. I don't know their standings, but if they would lose the Iron Bowl to Auburn, I think they would still make the title game, but I'd have to check that out. I'm not exactly sure. But let's say that happened and they made the title game, then they lost to Georgia. Okay, then you could take them out. But if they just lose to Georgia in the title game, Alabama, they may drop down to like 3 or 4, but they're not coming out. There's no way. I don't see that. So, and then maybe that sneaks Georgia in. I'm not sure how far back they are in the point standings, but that to me, I mean, I just don't. I mean, Clemson's not losing. Let's just say Michigan wins the next 2. Notre Dame's not losing. I mean, they're just not. I think Notre Dame's pretty good, but I think they've been the benefit of
great schedule.
A schedule. Yeah, and I mean, I agree with you. I think if they played Michigan now, I don't think it would be the same outcome they had before. Really, I kind of hope it stays the way it is. If it's the way it is, if these are the 4 teams, I think Alabama is the best team. I don't think anybody's beating them, but I would like to see Michigan's defense against Alabama's offense. I don't think they can stop them for 4, but I think they could make them really uncomfortable for a little bit because I think their defense is that good. I mean, they got a bunch of pros on that side of the ball. So does Alabama, but and then the Clemson-Alabama title game I think would be pretty good, but I don't see – that's the only scenario that I can think of is Georgia sneaking in there. I don't think there's anybody else out there that could really get in, other than Georgia if they beat them in the title game.
I agree with you. Matt Weaver from Pigs.com. Look forward to it next week. It's going to be a big week. Next week is rivalry week. Can't wait, man. Have a great day.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Matt Weaver from Pigs.com. Check out his coverage there. Brought to you by Kentuckiana Premier Truck Center. Whether it's one truck or the entire fleet, Kentuckiana's Premier Truck Center has your company covered. Give them a call. We've got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Aaron Mattis from Fox 41. And now you grad joins us next.
Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I want to get lost in your rock and roll and drift away.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen. a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. Today's guest is brought to you by Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when Mother Nature strikes. BrooksRoofingIN.com.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Wednesday, Hump Day, November 14.
Hump Day.
Joined now by Aaron Mattis from Fox 41. Aaron, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very well this morning. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. You've been a busy dude this week, man. A lot going on, Aaron, with Fox 41 in Louisville, and there's no way of ignoring the story. Jeff Brom, he's a wanted man.
Yeah, they want him. They want him bad. Is kind of what we're hearing, and it seems that he'll have first right of refusal to that open position with the Louisville football team right now.
Yeah, I was just talking with Matt Weaver from Peaks.com, and one of the things I got to talking to him about, even though we're a week away, it's you're not, as a coach, you don't move forward, but I don't care. I'm not a coach. I don't have to adhere to that, so I can look forward if I want. But this has got to become a huge distraction for Purdue. They laid an egg at Minnesota. Now that could have been weather related. That was in pretty bad conditions, and the air attack grounded a little bit. But not the play that we had been used to seeing from them here of late. But and then now they've got a big game against Wisconsin as they're trying to get to bowl eligibility. And I know that Jeff Brom would want nothing more than to leave that program by taking them to 2 straight bowl games.
Yeah, and there's a chance that how much can we throw into that final weekend? You know, if they don't beat Wisconsin, which let's not take anything away from them, they've shown they can win big games, especially at home. So they've got a chance to beat Wisconsin. Wisconsin hasn't been quite as good as maybe we thought. But if they don't beat them, then all of a sudden, you know, assuming Indiana doesn't beat Michigan, which seems highly unlikely, you've got both teams trying to get to a bowl game. You get the old Oaken bucket. You got all this noise surrounding Braun to Louisville. So there could be a lot in that powder keg going into that final weekend. But I think you're right. He's going to want to leave on a high note, and I don't know if that'll help. I think fans are going to be fans and be mad if he does make that choice. But it'll be a choice, right? It'll be hard, and I don't think it's a slam dunk at this point, but he'll definitely have a shot if he wants it.
Well, here's the thing. If you're not a Purdue fan and you're the rest of the world, you look at it with Jeff Brom was never staying at Purdue forever. He was not going to be there. That was a stepping stone to a bigger, better job because he's a bigger, better coach. So there was no doubt he was going to be leaving in my mind. But there is absolutely no doubt that if the Louisville job came open, he's probably going to be leaving. I don't think anybody Indiana with a first test on the season tonight as they host Marquette, and they got some shooting guards on that squad.
Yeah, this backcourt looks like it could be pretty hard to deal with, and they got quite a few players, and yeah, I mean, kind of a soft opening week for the Hoosiers, but they took care of business in those games. I thought they looked fairly good. Obviously against lesser competition, you hope you look good. But here we go, and this whole week's going to be attached with Marquette at Arkansas, and I'm actually really fascinated to see how they look against Marquette, who comes in ranked 24th in the country.
Yeah, they've got some great shooters, especially the Howard kid, who I've watched him play a lot, and this dude is just shoots lights out from all over the floor. But the thing about him, as I was talking about this earlier, is he's like a shark. He's constantly moving. He never stops. He never slows down, with or without the ball. This dude is moving and weaving, and it's like you don't know if he has the ball or not. It's like watching a triple option offense in football.
And we got to see this Indiana defense that's been fairly highly touted. I mean, everyone's kind of said that they've looked good, they've played well. Well, someone or multiple people are going to be chasing that guy around the floor, which of course impacts your offense too. But that's going to be a tough assignment running all over the floor with him. But yeah, he scored 37 points the other night.
He's a beast, and that we'll see at that length of Indiana that we've heard so much about as being so destructive defensively. How that plays into this, because they're going to have to block these lanes and clog the lanes. Even if he's not shooting the ball, he's passing the ball. He's a very, very good player. He's the best player they played this year for certain, and maybe the best player they played in several games.
And that length could also affect his shot, which would be great. If you can make him think for a split second longer about catch and release or creating that shot, that would be great. But yeah, wow, what an assignment! Should be a really good atmosphere at Assembly Hall tonight too. Not that it's been lacking, but it's been a little lacking with the first two opponents.
Exactly.
So it should be special to see.
Yeah, and I think what I'm looking forward to, just from getting a kick out of it, is Archie, when he had the students in for an open practice, one of the things he told them is he wanted them to pick out the best player of each team every game and just boo them relentlessly, which I think is hilarious, and I think it engages the fans and just makes it more fun for them. But that's going to be fun because I guarantee you this dude is going to have boos raining down on him like he has never in his life, because there's no place louder in college basketball than Assembly Hall.
The place where I sit, because I as you know, I shoot the games as well. So we get there and we go baseline. The basket the Hoosiers shoot at in the first half, I'm right there. And it's been kind of funny listening to the students because they got a list of instructions from Archie in that closed scrimmage, and they're kind of like trying to figure it out this year too. And you kind of hear a couple of the leaders remembering they're supposed to oink when they dribble, they pass when they pass, and then it slowly kind of spreads throughout the student section. It's been really funny because you know there's a few guys right behind me that remember every week, and it kind of has to spread throughout the student section.
Aaron, Justin Kalen here. We got a text into the show from Tim T. He asks, so Archie gives out awards after each game. Juwan Morgan won 4 of the 5 after the last game. Romeo likes to be number 1. Does he take this to heart tonight and have a great game to win the awards?
Well, if I remember correctly, he took the gold jersey away from Juwan Morgan in practice.
He did that one.
I think he was the first. I could be wrong. I thought he was.
He was the first to claim it besides Juwan. You are correct.
Yeah, I think there is something to be said about that. I think he's keeping a close eye on Juwan and learning from him as best he can. I'm sure you guys have noticed the cameras will cut away to them if they're out of the game. Romeo's sitting next to Juwan. I think that's a great move by Romeo. And if it's his own decision, it's a great move. If it's the coach's decision, it's a great move. So sure, why not, right? I think he could be the next guy to take it from Juwan, although when Juwan won that first gold jersey, I believe Archie said it's going to be hard to get it from him. So I'm not shocked if Juwan takes it again tonight.
And speaking of Romeo, the thing that has impressed me about him most this year is not anything that he's done that's spectacular, that he's shooting this or he's doing that. It's what he hasn't done. It's not trying to do too much. He has seemed like he has played in his game. He's not tried to force things too much, where Devontae Green sometimes comes in and kind of want to reel him back in. Haven't seen that with Romeo, and I think that is spectacular for a freshman. No matter how heralded you are, you still have to play the game, and he has done it within his game. And I think that's been impressive for him. And like you said, with trying to learn from veterans, that takes intelligence to do that.
I've almost got nothing to add because I couldn't agree with you more. He's been, ever since I moved here in May, I kept an eye on him from afar because, being an IU alum, but I moved here in May and everyone said, he's not that great at a press conference, which really just means he doesn't get rattled, he doesn't get energized. He kind of just says the soundbite, moves on to the next question. He doesn't get rattled in big games. Everyone has said that. He stays even-keeled, and I didn't know what to expect, but that has been the most accurate description now that I've started covering him a little bit in Bloomington. Nothing gets to him. The moment hasn't gotten to him thus far. He doesn't go out there and try and score 30 points in the first half, although he almost did when he scored 11 straight and ended up with 17 last week in the first half. But he doesn't – kind of what you said, he takes what's given to him. When the lane's open, he cuts to it, but he's got no problem making the pass. And if I had to add one thing that's impressed me – and maybe you guys saw this in high school when you saw him play, it's his energy and what he can bring off the ball and defensively, too, has been very impressive. Because I didn't hear much about that. Everyone just wanted to talk about the 60 points a game he was scoring.
He's like a stick of dynamite with a never-ending fuse. You don't know when it's going to go off, but it's going to go off. That's the thing. It's that stick of dynamite, it's going to explode, but you just don't know when it's going to explode. And so you're always standing there waiting. Is this the time? And I think that's something advantage for him because it keeps people on their heels trying to defend him. You just don't know what you're going to get from him because he is able to deliver so much in so many different ways.
Well, what was it? It was game one. It took him. He had 1 point through about 10.5 minutes, and then that final 9.5 or so, he scored 16. So, like you said, he'll wait for the time, and my goodness, when when it starts going in, that was impressive.
And that's a game that he was 3 of 9 at the free throw line. So, and I say that only because that means this dude can score in so many different ways, and that's what's dangerous about him. He can just score the ball, and that is invaluable.
What do you think so far? I think people knew Juwan and Romeo were going to be there. Has that third part, which a lot of people think Justin Smith is going to be, has that emerged yet for this team?
To me, it's Rob Phinisee. I'm shocked at, and I think a lot of people are, that he's Romeo-esque. He's not getting rattled. This dude is stepping in off of the high school court into the Big Ten, into the Assembly Hall, and running this offense like he did it last year, and he didn't. So I'm very impressed, not only impressed with him, but I think he's been a calming influence, and he is just keeping that offense kind of moving smoothly.
Doing everything he can to hold on. He got the starting job with Devontae Green banged up a little bit, and he's making it really hard to take his name out of that starting lineup, huh?
Yep.
And another text into the show emphasizes that. Josh texts in and says, Rob Phinisee is a constant reminder on why it's more important to get Indiana kids no matter where they are ranked in the top 150. Good point there.
Well, I don't know if it's an Indiana kid or not. I agree with that, but also I wouldn't care where Rob Phinisee was from, even though he's from West Lafayette, Indiana. See, that shows you can get a basketball player from anywhere.
And then another text in from JR. This question's for Aaron. Why are the other Louisville stations second rate on IU coverage when WDRB is all in?
Can you repeat it?
Why are the other Louisville TV stations second rate on IU coverage when WDRB is all in?
Oh, I got to take the high road or the low road here, right, guys?
Hey, baby. Well, this is radio. You can do whatever you want. Take the low road. Come on, man.
You got to keep in mind we've got a larger staff, and the 6-person sports staff in this day and age in any television market is a big one. And so we're very lucky to have a management that is fully invested in sports, where other stations around the country and locally have dialed back. Our bosses decided that this was a crazy sports town, and we're going to kind of go heavier with it to try to see if we could have people say exactly what that text message just said, and it seems to be working. So we just have more people. We can get up to Bloomington, where some people might be not able to get outside of Louisville, or maybe not outside of Louisville and Lexington, but where we can do that. So that's awesome to hear that text message got sent in. But yeah, sometimes it's a numbers game.
See, that's what happens when you come on Indiana Sports Beat, baby. You get the love.
That's right. I'm feeling this is great. It's better than this cup of coffee right now.
I hear you. Well, that's going to we're looking forward to that. It'll be a heck of a game tonight. It's a late game start, though, tip at 8:30. Are you guys heading up there tonight?
Yeah, Rick Bozich and I are going to go up. So we'll do whatever we can to turn something around for the late shows, but likely it's going to be content for the morning show, because that is going to be a late finish up there. And if there's anything like some of the fouls that are getting called at the Yum Center lately, could be a 3-hour game.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. We saw something about Tom Izzo complaining about fouls the other day, but Ken Pomeroy posted a Twitter post yesterday that said that last year was the least amount of fouls called in maybe ever, and he expected this year to be about the same. So it's kind of a weird, unless there's been a great change in foul calls, which there may be. It's kind of ironic, but yeah, we'll see that. But go ahead.
I saw Louisville shoot 55 free throws last week at the Yum Center. Oh. Let's just say there wasn't a whole lot of flow to that game.
That's brutal. Golly, I mean, that just is from a fan standpoint, that is awful to sit through. But
it was rough.
Well, I appreciate Aaron Mattis for joining us from Fox 41. Look forward to it. I'll see you up there tonight, and make sure you catch their coverage on Fox 41 as they are covering the Hoosiers, just like we are here at Indiana Sports Beat. But, Aaron, thanks a lot, brother, and I'll see you tonight.
Thank you, guys. See you in Bloomington.
Will do. That's going to wrap it up for us here today. Tomorrow on the program, we've got Terry Hutchins, of course, amongst others. Make sure you stay tuned. Complete coverage of tonight's Marquette game tomorrow on Indiana Sports Beat. For Justin Kalen, I'm Jim Coyle, and I'll see you on the radio.